From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Wednesday, February 28th. I'm Augusta McDonald. We begin this morning with another victory lap for President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. Both cruising to victories in their Michigan primaries, putting us one step closer to a rematch in November. Trump challenger Nikki Haley is vowing to stay in the race through Super Tuesday next week. On the Democrats' side of things, President Biden faced a key test from those who oppose his handling of Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza. Despite the landslide win, some activists in Michigan, home to the largest Arab American population in the U.S., are claiming a victory of their own. The campaign pushed for 10,000 to vote uncommitted in protest. Back in Montana, yet another prominent Montana Republican announces she's running for the Eastern Congressional District House seat currently held by Matt Rosendale. State Superintendent of Public Instruction Elsie Arnson officially filed yesterday, promising to focus on border security. She joins a crowded field of 10 candidates, which is likely to include Rosendale. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking toward a possible partial government shutdown at the end of this week, unless Congress figures out a solution. Lawmakers in this Congress have so far avoided actual shutdowns, but this morning, our Joe St. George explains what a partial one is and what options to avert a shutdown are currently on the table.
Let's face it, there are a lot of federal government programs and government agencies, like the Department of Justice, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And you can't forget about NASA. But once again, every federal worker and every federal agency is facing the possibility of a partial or full government shutdown in the coming days.
Let's start with how the federal government gets funded. Typically, it's broken up into 12 different parts. For instance, state and foreign operations is in one funding bill, Homeland Security is in another. Usually it all passes at once, and funding expires for the entire government at the same time. That's not the case with this potential shutdown. On Friday, March 1st, only these four government sectors are potentially impacted: agriculture, rural development and the FDA, energy and water, military, construction and veterans affairs, and transportation, housing, and urban development.
Well, it was both a productive and an intense meeting.
It was frank and honest.
On Tuesday, congressional leaders met with President Biden to discuss a path forward. All agreed that a shutdown should be prevented. The easiest way to avoid a shutdown usually is pass what's known as a continuing resolution that would extend current government funding out temporarily to a certain date. But there is a problem with that approach. Republican Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has been critical of this short-term fix option in the past. Scripps News has learned that he would only accept a continuing resolution this time if it was part of a larger deal to pass actual appropriation bills in the near future, which would give the budget in federal agencies a fresh update. From a political standpoint, Speaker Mike Johnson must also tread lightly. The last speaker, Kevin McCarthy, lost his job over how he avoided a government shutdown. A partial shutdown would impact about 20% of the government. It would delay paychecks to impacted workers and agencies like the Department of Agriculture and air traffic controllers. And while back pay is guaranteed to workers, some federal food assistance programs may face delays like WIC, which helps low-income parents afford food and formula. If there is any good news, the markets for the moment still believe Congress will avoid a shutdown. The market exchange site Kalshi Tuesday forecasting that there was only a 14% chance of an actual shutdown this weekend. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
We'll be keeping an eye on that. But for now, joining us, we've got Miller Robson with some details on the wind outside and the cold.
It is whipping. Yeah, it's cold. The winds are whipping, slick roads, visibility issues. So not the best morning for commuting. Just be careful out there. And these winds are going to stay with us all the way through possibly tomorrow evening. We'll tell you more about that coming up. And let's take a step back in time. Yesterday, I call it a busted forecast. I called for a high of 21. I thought the colder air would get out a little quicker than it did. Not the case. We only got up to 12 yesterday. So well below average, about 31 degrees below the norm. Our overnight low colder than normal, a 4, about 18 degrees below average. Yesterday was breezy at times. 22 miles an hour was our top gust officially at the airport. Here in Billings all the way through tomorrow night, we can have gusts up to 50 miles an hour. And those winds will increase, probably stronger winds by tonight through tomorrow. A little bit of moisture yesterday. I want to point something out. We talk about the snow totals. You can see since July 1st, we've had almost 26 inches of snowfall. But at this point in the season, we should be just over 40 inches of snow. Our annual snowfall just over 57 inches. So we still got over 31 inches to go by the end of this season to hit where we should be for this time of the season. Where we are right now In terms of the moisture, we're doing okay. If you melted all that snow down and any of the rain that we got, we're about 0.32 inches. We're still ahead for the year. The monthly snow total, we're still ahead, but up to this point of the season, we're about almost 15 inches in the hole. And we could see a little bit of more snow as we get into the weekend. It is cold right now. 18 feels like 4. Winds out the southwest at about 15 miles an hour. Temperatures across the area from east to west, single digits to the teens and 20s. And there's your big story. The winds just had a gust now near 70 in Livingston, and that's going to be the case all the way through tomorrow evening. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about our next potential winter storm system for this weekend coming up.
All right, lots to follow. Thank you so much, Miller. Okay. And any military veterans exposed to toxic chemicals can start receiving benefits through the PACT Act starting next week. Initially, the plan was to phase in eligibility over time. Now, anyone who served in the Vietnam War, Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, or in combat zones after 9/11 can enroll directly in VA healthcare on March 5th. VA leaders say this means millions more veterans will be able to enroll up to 8 years ahead of schedule. More than 500,000 veterans have enrolled in healthcare since the PACT Act became law. And we might still be in the dead of winter, but temperatures in parts of the country are soaring into the 90s. These wild fluctuations are fueling wildfires in the south and severe storms in the Midwest. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
This morning, parts of Texas are torched. Wildfires burning through nearly 250,000 acres of the state's panhandle. From the wall of smoke in Hemphill County to fire north of Amarillo, prompting a nuclear weapons facility to shut down at one point.
We have evacuated our personnel, non-essential personnel, from the site, just in an abundance of caution.
The plant back open today, but flames further east in Shattuck, Oklahoma, closed the highway overnight. Residents ordered to evacuate.
We asked them to leave because it's a very dangerous situation.
Strong winds, dry grass, and unseasonably warm temperatures fueled the flames in the south. Across the nation, 78 cities hit record high temperatures Monday. But in the Midwest, tornado sirens blared. An apartment wall collapsed north of Chicago after strong winds blew through the region.
Within a very short time, we had a big sound of a doom. When that happened, it was like something fall off from the top of the roof.
In Ohio, hail the size of nickels pelted some neighborhoods. And in North Dakota, cleanup continues after blizzard conditions dumped 10 inches of snow with winds up to 60 miles per hour.
No matter where we are, there's beauty.
Some residents trying to find the bright side through the chaos. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Emergency officials in Texas say an unknown number of homes and other structures have been damaged or destroyed in these fires. The state's governor, Greg Abbott, issued a disaster declaration for 60 counties. And back here in Montana, a fire as well. A structure fire ripped through the small western Montana town of Knoxon yesterday, destroying 3 buildings, including a beloved bar and general store. Residents say Toby's Tavern was a community hub. Customers had their own Susan B. Anthony coins hanging on the walls, their names written underneath. The Angry Beaver General Store is where Knoxon residents got their groceries, so they'll have to travel longer now to get to the store.
Sucks, because we have nothing now. We got a hardware store and that's it. And that was the only grocery store. And the bar, that was all the old timers, the local hangout. Now we have to go to Trout Creek or pretty much Idaho.
The fire started inside the grocery store, and the cause of this blaze is still under investigation. The U.S. Department of the Interior is launching a pilot program to expand firefighting resources by converting more vehicles into wildland fire engines. They're offering grants to help rural agencies purchase slip-on tankers. These are firefighting units with water tanks and pumps included that can be placed on a pickup truck or a flatbed truck. DOI leaders say the goal is to help small and rural agencies quickly step up their capacity to respond. Grants will range from $10,000 to $200,000, and they're open to agencies serving populations of 25,000 or less. February is American Heart Month, a reminder for all of us to check up on our cardiovascular health. This morning, Q2's Haley Monaco meets with one Billings hero who had a close call just last year.
It was doing something as simple as playing the basketball game Lightning that had a fire captain's life doing a 180. As workout class participants at the YMCA get their hearts pumping, there's one man in the crowd who is thankful his is still able to.
It was a definite emotional shock.
Billings Fire Department Captain Chris Lowe was diagnosed with a heart defect at 18, but he continued living normally.
Doing sports, wrestling, things like that.
He was fine until he wasn't.
And then I woke up on the sidewalk.
Lowe passed out not once but 2 times while exercising.
Because it was so hot and because I felt dehydrated, I was really easy to excuse it away.
But then it happened again last May, and he couldn't ignore it. Lowe was playing basketball at the station when he fell to the ground.
So with me being the sole paramedic of the day here at the station, it was my duty to take care of. Everybody was looking at me for, here, you got to do this. You got CeeLo, take care of him.
Wyatt Keeker went from playing a leisurely game of basketball to being the first step in saving his captain's life. A few days later, Lowe was getting open heart surgery at St. Vincent Healthcare.
Well, a normal valve about that big, his was about that big, so real tight.
They're like, this is getting to the point that you might not wake up if you pass out again.
Lowe was diagnosed with severe aortic stenosis and underwent a complicated surgery that included replacing his pulmonary valve with a cadaver valve. Less than a year later, the now 41-year-old is back to working out and firefighting.
Pretty awesome to see him back on the job now and fully functioning and running miles like we always have. So.
A Billings hero who needed to be saved himself.
Don't be like me and don't make excuses. So even if you think you might be able to excuse it away, don't. Go get it checked out.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.